Welcome back to Easy Off Grid. It is January 10th, 2022. It is just after 2:30 p.m. and it's 45 degrees and extremely windy. Extremely windy. So as you might be able to tell from the title of this video, this trip was an absolute disaster and I should not have come up here. So yesterday morning, I was loading up at home. Got everything loaded up. Got the dog. That's the last thing I typically do is I grab my dog. And before I get into that, I had a lot of things planned for this trip. I was only going to be up here until Tuesday, which is tomorrow. Today's Monday. But I had a lot of things planned. I was going to get some work done in here on the hearth. And I was going to record a couple of different videos up here. One of which was going to be part of the review I'm going to be doing on that new jacket I got, which I'll be posting on my other channel. And then I was going to do basically a recovery video on my condition or how it went for me when I went through the whole Plague 19. But things changed. For one, my internet has been down here for about 2.5 weeks, which has been an ongoing issue that I've been dealing with for about the last, I don't know how long it's been now, 2 years? 2 years? Let me take you inside real quick and show you. I don't know how well you guys can see, but this is a Verizon Jetpack. This thing has unlimited data. It's not throttled. They work pretty well. That's where it sits for now. But the problem with that being my only source of data up here, and I've come to learn, and it's been a pain in my ass, but that thing shuts itself down after, it's really inconsistent, to be honest. I've had it go for a couple of months and it never shut itself down. But typically it shuts itself down once a month. It'll turn it off for whatever reason. It'll turn itself off and it doesn't restart. And so I have no internet here. And I'm not here most of the time. I'm back home living my regular painful 9 to 5. Anyways, and when it does that, I no longer have the ability to look at my surveillance and see what's going on around here. So, sure enough, when I got up here yesterday, it was in fact turned off. And I turned it back on and everything worked great. In fact, the data signal has been amazing. I don't know what's changed, but I have been streaming high-def YouTube and watching HBO Max all day today. And it's been flawless. No buffering, no nothing. High-def. So, but aside from all that, I could not see the condition of the ground here, which is what I typically do with my surveillance when I'm ready to come up here. I'll kind of keep an eye on what the ground looks like, because it gives me information. It tells me whether or not the ground is covered in snow, if it's muddy, dry, whatever. So Haven't been able to look at that for the last couple of weeks. Probably about 2.5 weeks, give or take. But, so, it all started off yesterday morning. Sorry, gotta get my face in the sun. Got all loaded up at home and opened the door to the truck. The dog goes to jump in like she always does, and she slipped. Now, if you've been following my channel for any amount of time, my dog is usually in every video. She's a German Shepherd, kind of a runt, smaller German Shepherd. Certainly smaller than my last German Shepherd. But anyways, if you know anything about German Shepherds, they have an issue with their hips. It's a well-known thing. Well, I'm going to take you over and show you what she did. So, when she went to jump into the truck yesterday morning, I opened the door. You probably can't see it very well now with the shadow. She usually jumps right up in there, no issues. But this time, her right rear leg, when she put her paw up here, it slipped off into this little gap right here. I quickly grabbed her bottom and helped her up into the truck. And she was clearly uncomfortable after that point. She was experiencing pain. But I couldn't see anything wrong with her right at the moment, right? There's a dog bed that I put in there for her that I keep at home. It's a really nice, like, Serta memory foam thing, whatever. She loves that thing. So once I picked her up into the truck, she quickly laid down on that thing, and we were off. We started heading up here, and she was whimpering quite a bit for, I don't know, a couple of hours. But then she eventually quit. And drove all the way up here. 5 hours, whatever. When I opened the door and she jumped out, it was immediately obvious that there was something wrong with her. She wouldn't put any weight on her right rear leg. She was, holding it off the ground, and it just looked kind of funny. So this camera is all wonky. Sorry, guys. It looked kind of funky, and really wasn't digging it. And I had somebody else look at her, a couple of different people up here, and they said, "Yeah, something's come out of something's dislocated," right? So I knew I had to go get her looked at. So I started calling around, and I found an emergency vet. Of course, it being Sunday, everything's closed except for the emergency vets, especially at that time of day. So I ended up having to take a trip back down about an hour and a half south to Prescott, Arizona, where there's an emergency vet available. And oh boy, almost $800 later, guys. I'm not kidding. $745 flippin' dollars for a morphine shot, x-rays, and an assessment. Oh, and some medication. It turns out that her femur bone dislocated from her hip. It popped out. In fact, it popped out and then kind of rotated in front of her hip socket. All right, sounds pretty scary. It also turns out, after they reviewed the x-rays, that her hip socket is actually a bit shallower than a typical German Shepherd, and they already have issues with their hips anyways. So the vet doc I was talking to said it was bound to happen at some point, because there's very little cupping of the femur bone in the hip socket, and it was likely that either one of her femurs was going to pop out of her hip at some point because the socket was so shallow. So, unfortunately, oh boy, they said they could pop it back in, but because of her condition and the fact that it's already come out, it's probably going to come back out again. And they said it would be better for me to not waste a lot of money having them do that and to go ahead and just get her some surgery. So she needs surgery. Well, I guess what they do is they start shaving off the top of the femur bone where it locks into the hip, and it allows the femur bone to sit up inside the hip socket a little better, so it doesn't pop out like that again. So I didn't get back up here till almost 9 p.m. after working all night the night before and being up half the day before. I was exhausted by the time I got up here. I don't even remember, believe it or not, I don't remember a lot of the drive from Prescott all the way back here. I was that tired. Pretty stupid. Probably should have pulled over. But anyways, I can't sleep in my truck. I just can't. I've tried. Can't do it. When I came up here last night, I forgot to mention, I didn't stop here when I got to the ranch yesterday from driving up from home. I didn't stop here. I stopped at a friend's house down the road. And that's when I realized my dog had a problem. So I left from there to Prescott to see the vet. So I didn't actually come up here until 8:45 last night. Okay. So I didn't know what things looked like up here, what the condition was. By the time I got up here, it was below freezing, and I didn't have an issue getting up here. It's kind of a roundabout way of saying this, but had I had my surveillance available to me for the last 2.5 weeks, I would have been able to see that this whole place was covered in snow until about 3 days ago. And you can see the snow out there in the shadows still. Here, I'll show you some more of it here. This is a muddy mess over here. I'm wearing my mud boots right now because it's a bit of a mess out here. But anyways, there's my trailer shadow, and there's all the snow still that the sun hasn't had a chance to melt off yet. Oh yeah, it's a mess over here. Anyways, yeah, so I didn't have my surveillance available to see that the snow that we got here, I don't know, about a week and a half ago, it sat here on the ground for that long and didn't melt because it's been so cold up here and windy that it just wasn't melting off until about 3 days ago. And then it started warming up out here. You get up to like 40 something degrees, 38, 40, 45, and then it starts melting. Well, you can't see it here. This looks pretty dry, but just below the surface is a ton of mud. It's very wet. And if I start driving in that, especially right now, it's going to get nasty, especially on the road. There's a lot of shadows along the road all the way out to the main ranch road, and it's a mess. But anyways, when I drove in last night, it was no big deal because it was below freezing and the ground had solidified, and I really didn't notice it until I came out here today. And it's just a mess. Like, my truck is sitting in mud right now. It wasn't last night because it was somewhat frozen, but now it's all muddy. If I walk over there, I get mud all over my feet, but my boots. But anyways, so I had planned, before all this crap happened, had planned on going over and visiting a friend over here. He was going to have me over for dinner and we're going to have some good times. But he told me the road up to his place off the main road was pretty bad, so it's just not a good time. The weather, the ground is just too wet, I think, to go over there. I'm sure I could probably make it, but it's not necessary right now to just cover my truck in mud and have to deal with all that trying to get over there. So anyways, Sadie is currently inside, all doped up on dog drugs. She's been sleeping most of the day. Her femur is still currently dislocated from her hip. The vet advised that it was better that I didn't have them do the procedure because it was an emergency vet. It would have probably cost me twice as much to have it done. And they said as long as she's taking the meds they gave me, she's fine to be in that condition for another week or so, until I can get another vet to do the operation. So I do have an appointment scheduled with a guy in the Phoenix area. He's a really good animal surgeon, coworker of mine, friend of mine. Has had a couple of his animals operated on by the guy. He said he does outstanding work. So that is scheduled for Friday, this coming Friday. So today's Monday, that's Friday. So she's going to have to be like that for another 4 more days, unfortunately. But as long as she's taking the meds, she seems to be just fine. She just doesn't want to move, and I don't blame her. Poor girl. Let me try to... My boots are kind of covered in mud, and I really don't want to go in here, but it's probably too dark, too. Ay, ay, ay. See what she's looking like right now. Hey, baby. Yep. She's all doped up right now. She's actually laying on the hip that's messed up. It's her left rear. So she probably doesn't feel it right now because of all the meds she's on. But so pretty sad, pretty unfortunate, pretty disappointing. I think most of all at this point in time, I feel just terrible for my dog. You know, she's uncomfortable. I have to keep her medicated to where she's not just, completely miserable. And I can't have her fixed until Friday. However, the emergency vet did tell me that the procedure is pretty standard. I mean, a lot of German Shepherds, right, have this issue. But said it's a pretty standard procedure. They go in, they trim the excess, or it's not excess, it's just they trim the top of the femur bone so it pops into that socket better. And they said the dog heals up pretty quick, and they're over it in no time, and they're back to normal. And said that she probably shouldn't have any issues with that hip going forward once they do that. So then I'll have to worry about the other hip. Anyways, so I'm not going to work on the hearth right now because I want to keep an eye on her and just kind of be there for her when she needs something, needs water, food, come outside. That's the hard part. It's hard for her, especially as a female, to take care of business out here when she's got a bum rear leg. So she actually hasn't done it at all since we left yesterday. And I tried to get her out here last night, and she wouldn't do it. It was too much of a pain, no pun intended. And she just wanted to go inside and lay down. And then today she's been so drugged up on those meds that she probably couldn't even walk right now, to be honest. So we're going to end up leaving out of here in the morning when everything's frozen. And I'm really not going to get anything done while I'm up here. The only thing I've accomplished is I got my internet back on again, which is not worth coming up here. And it cost me close to $800 and probably another arm and a leg for the procedure on Friday. So, realistically, I shouldn't have even come up here, to be honest. I should have stayed at home. But who knew? Who knew, right? All right, so in the last couple of videos, I talked about still waiting for Starlink. Well, they've updated their website to where you can actually go on there and get some kind of information, like every other website. And they said it looks like it's going to be ready for me in February, which will be amazing because I shouldn't ever lose my internet ever again. And when I am here, I should have amazing speeds compared to what I have now. So I'll be able to upload and stream day and night if I need to or want to. But yeah, just kind of been a bummer trip, just a disaster, really. Very expensive, and painful for my poor dog. So hopefully we get this done on Friday and she recovers in a few days, whatever, and we don't have to deal with this ever again. I can tell you though, for certain, in the future, when I'm ready to bring her up here, I will not let her jump into my truck again. I'll just pick her up and put her in. She can jump out. She won't get her leg caught in anything when she jumps out. But jumping in, I guess there's that slight chance. It's never happened before until yesterday, but yeah, I won't let her jump in anymore. I'll just pick her up. Very expensive and painful lessons learned. I do have a clip of our latest camp resident, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that in right now. Yeah, it's a fox. Anyways, still here. wherever that little guy is, he keeps coming out from underneath the water tank right there. Yeah, right next to the power room. He comes out from underneath the water tank. So he's got some kind of something back there. I'm not going to go searching for it. I'll just leave him alone. He leaves me alone, I leave him alone. Maybe he takes care of my rodent problem, right? So he did leave me a little present on my sidewalk over here. Oops. Yeah. He left me a little present. So, but no big deal. Anyways, yeah, it's a muddy mess out here. Can't do a whole lot. I can't drive around. I don't even want to ride the quad in this because when I go to put the quad up, it'll be covered in mud, and I don't want to track all that inside my shipping container. Brought up another game camera. I'm going to be hooking that on to, you can't see it. There's a tree back there. Back there, there's a tree. And I've been seeing a lot of animal hoof prints and poo. And I'm going to go ahead and set up a game camera right there and see what we get on there. I also brought up something I wanted to test out, but I just don't think it's a good time right now. Because I don't feel like having to break out the generator. Not that I need to. I don't know. My wife got me an ice maker for up here. I don't know how much power it uses. I haven't been able to test it out yet. But I think it's probably not a good time right now to go ahead and test it. It's getting later in the day, and if it uses quite a bit of electricity, I don't want to have to break the generator out and keep the batteries up at night. Just don't feel like messing with it, especially with this mud and stuff. So we'll check that out on another day. And let's check out the solar real quick. Let's check out the batteries and see where they're at. That furnace on my trailer, it's been running. Sorry guys. It's been running since I got here last night. On and off, you know, it's on a thermostat. But this trailer, the insulation on it's pretty crappy. And so it's on and off like every 5 minutes. And that thing uses quite a bit of power. That fan, that blower fan, it uses a lot of electricity. It's been running this whole time off of a barbecue grill tank, a small one. So I'm pretty impressed that it's still going. I'll probably have to switch that up here in a little bit. And I used the microwave for a bit here about an hour ago. Been charging lots of batteries in there, AA's from Amazon, rechargeable, standalone battery packs for charging other things. So let's go take a look at the battery bank and see where it's sitting. It's a muddy mess over here, guys. All right, let's take a look. Haven't looked at it yet. Oh, nice. I don't know if you can see behind that glare. Let's try that. 14 volts float. 4.5 kilowatt hours. That's not bad, man. That's pretty good. All right. I don't know. I think that's pretty good. Microwave, furnace all day, refrigerator. Watching high def. I guess the high def doesn't make any difference, but maybe it does. I don't know. Watching TV all day, basically. Charging batteries. And we're in float mode by, I don't know what time it is, 3 p.m.? I don't know, maybe we went into float mode earlier, who knows? I don't know. That's pretty good. Those batteries are getting pretty old. They are probably close to 5.5 years old. A couple of them I've added since, so they're probably a good 3 years old, 4 years old. And you know me, they're poorly maintained. That's just how it is. That's how I don't like messing with that stuff. So I'll look at them like every 4 or 5 months, you know, put some water in. I should be better about it, but I'm not. Anyways, they're still kicking. The what are they? The Energizer, Duracells, 6-volt golf cart batteries. I like them. They're relatively inexpensive, and they're still going after all this time and me abusing them. So I mean, for a first time system, you really can't beat it. I will say, however, my next system will not be lead acid. It's going to be lithium iron phosphate. I'm probably going to use server rack batteries. And once I build the addition on the cabin back here, they're going to go into a little utility room inside there. That's the other thing. So I've been saving money to build the addition on the tiny cabin here. And now doggy injuries cutting into that. So probably going to take all of the money that I've saved up for that. That's life, huh? It's just the way it goes. Can't seem to get ahead no matter how hard you try. But what are you going to do? Anyways, that's about all I have for you guys. Sorry, shadows. It's about all I have for you guys today. Unfortunately, I couldn't give you more, but just a disaster of a trip. Should have never came up here. Would have saved me a ton of money and saved my poor dog from all that pain. So anyways, 42 years old and I'm still learning valuable lessons, right? I guess you never stop learning. Anyways, guys, that's about it. I'm going to get out of here early in the morning. I'm not going to record anything. I guess I'll do my Plague 19 video for you guys here, probably in the next couple of weeks. I'll probably do it from home because I won't be up here. I was going to do it up here. It's just not working out right now. So it's a bad time. But I am mostly fully recovered. Feeling tons better. It was terrible for me anyways. So just keep a lookout for that video. It'll be coming in the future. Anyways, you guys take care, be safe. Try to stay healthy, please, because it sucks. And we'll see you in the next video.